lift off. All right, Chi-Town, you can cue the joint when you're ready. Cern, Unpacked.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Facts. Let's get them in here. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.
In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying
all the way through the show
to put, quote, new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be cleared and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child, for said the Master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times there seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self Luv Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change.
24 years ago today, iconic rapper Tupac Shakur was shot here in Las Vegas.
The rapper was shot inside of a BMW while stopped at a red light on Koval and Flamingo. We all know the story. He then died 6 days later. The shooting happened after a Mike Tyson fight against Bruce Sheldon at MGM Grand. And then there was a brawl inside of the lobby right after that fight. Tupac was in the car with Marion Suge Knight, who was grazed by a bullet. No one has ever been arrested for Tupac's murder.
And even in this instance, if I could be a service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else, because it's coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. If you take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. If you take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Chi-Town, cue to me. Yeah, buddy. Silverbacks are back. Chicago kids are in the building. Cat and all. I'm just a kid from Chicago. Yes, sir. Welcome to Chi-Town's very own, the Self Luv Show, where we got two mottos. Motto number one is on earth as it is in heaven. Bing. Big praise to the ancestors. Self-love vision. Much better. Motto number two, as above, so below. Right now, we could be found Malcolm exclusively on the YouTube channel. This Ain't That Network. And as we say around here, TATN. Yeah? Yeah? This is one of the co-hosts, Nine Millie, also known as Self. What down, what down, what down, what down, Chi-Town, what down, America. Repeat after he. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. Today is Hump Day, Wednesday, 8 Trey, 2022, at approximately 8:06 p.m. Central Standard Time. And as always, we love to acknowledge that you individuals, your souls can be any place, at any time, in this magnanimous universe. But thankfully, big up Scooter, we all Scooter chose to be here together. Here, together. What down, what down, what down, brother Wordsmith? What you manifesting today, sir?
Love. I'm manifesting love, man. You know me. You manifest.
Ditto, good brother. Pure, unfettered, magnanimous. Some say harsh. Others say tough. But I assure you, good brother, it's love just the same.
No doubt.
What the Chicago kid been up to since last week?
Oh man. Slacko, Jack. Jack's birthday was on the 30th.
Big ups, big ups. Good announcement.
Be humble.
We got announcements for that. What was how was your what happened since last week, bro?
Oh, the picnic. Yeah, the picnic. We had the picnic. It was a great experience. Got to kick it with brothers.
Oh yeah, you mean the Chicago alumni and the brothers picnic?
Yes.
Nice. How was the food, bro?
The food was well prepared because we didn't I didn't get none of the catered stuff or whatever. You know, Jeff cooked
Yeah,
at home and
I
brought
heard
it
he
out.
threw down. He had
Oh
his
yeah,
Mama Shaver's recipes.
yeah, he was. You already know.
So you didn't smash none of the Chicago alumni food?
Nah,
Yeah, they had burgers and dogs, right?
I didn't even go in and inquire or whatever. I got there kind of early, and I was sitting with them, and then when Jeff got there, I just helped load all that in. Man, I didn't need to go anywhere for food.
I hear you. Jeff was getting it in, huh? Big ups to Brother Shavers.
All the time.
All right, bro. What to expect on today's shebang? We're gonna, as always, we got the Self Luv Show quote of the day, and then we have our foundational video. That's the More Growth and Development platform. Again, that's More Growth and Development platform. Tune into that. That is what we stand upon. Then, of course, we got a video for Tattoo Tyranny. Self Love and I will unpack a video selected this week, and we'll determine if it's tyranny or not. Feel free to vote on it in the chat as well. Then, of course, we have our new segment, which is what if they were pink? Or what if they were melanated? That's always fun. And then, of course, we go from there to our riddle, which is a dome teaser. Your brain is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The less you use it, the weaker it becomes. Then, of course, our topic today, we're going to unpack CERN, C-E-R-N. It's an acronym, kind of like TATN. We'll break down what that means. And we're going to be talking about, I believe it's the LHC, Low Hadron Collider. And going to get into some esoteric theories as well as to its purpose. And then we're going to jump to next week's sneak peek. And that tells you what we got coming next week. Then, of course, my personal favorite part of the whole shebang. That's when this brother to my right summarizes the entire show tonight off the rip, off the top of the dome, with a wonderful piece of prose. Looking forward to that. But first, announcements. All right, Self, you had some announcements. Have at it.
Yep. My cousin Jackie, his birthday was on the 30th. Happy born day. Love you,
Big ups. Big ups.
Be humble. My cousin birthday was yesterday.
Big ups, be humble. Big ups.
Yes, sir. Those are my announcements.
All right. So, yeah, the good Dr. Law has launched he's dental, Dr. Lawrence A. White. We call him Dr. Law. He's launched a dental program, a dental camp. He launched a dental camp for the youth, which is a great idea because I think less than 3% of us are represented in that arena. And it's a great science. If you learn that art as he is, he's an artist. So if you learn that trade, dare I say, you'll never be without food on the plate, without a Mercedes-Benz, without a nice house, unless, you've got some sort of sweet tooth, some sort of habit, in which case, well, you might throw all your money away. So big ups to Dr. Law. He's running a dental camp in conjunction with the University of Illinois in Chicago, University of Illinois College of Dentistry. The camp is for young black teenage males in high school. The goal of the camp is to increase the number of historically underrepresented minorities. HURM is the acronym, HERM. in the field of dentistry. If you know any children that are interested, or young men that are interested in science, technology, engineering, or math, you can send that brother the information. Um, the camp takes place in the College of Dentistry, and it's going to be Monday through Friday, August 8th through August 12th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that's a day camp, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to apply, I'll drop the link into the chat at some point. But the goal of the camp is to expose students to various dental scientific principles and technological applications in the field of dentistry. The program is targeted at Chicagoland area melanated students ranging from grade 9 through 12. The program will take place, as we said, Monday, August 8th through Friday, August 12th. And it's in conjunction with the University of Illinois, Chicago. That's UIC. And I will do what I can to get this Google form into the chat. Also, rest in peace to my good noob, Bill Russell. We lost a giant. We lost a champion this week. So rest up, good brother. I know you're D'ing them up and Chapter Invisible. So thanks for all of your service that you perform down here for the nation of melanated people. 11 rings in 13 years, that's huge. But he did a lot more, from a social standpoint. So yo to that good brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And then if you guys got any suggestions out there for guests or topics, let us know. You can drop it in the comments or reach us in our phone numbers. If you know it, you can text 424-900-6945. That's
Troll free.
Trolls Get Hoes. It's completely troll free. Standard rates and messaging fees may apply. 424-900-6945. That's our phone line as well. So the phone line will be open if you have any comments, questions as well. And if you're too bashful to put it on the YouTube chat, spooked out by the spooks, feel more than free to text that number, and we'll get your questions or your concerns posted most freaky tick. Or you can call in, huh, Self?
Absolutely.
If you still got your nuts.
I got mine.
All right, so that's all we had for announcements. So, if you got any scientists out there, anyone knows anything about this topic we're discussing, whether it's from an esoteric point of view or from a physical science point of view, do chime in. We'd love to hear from you. So enough of my yapping. I'm going to turn it over to this brother to my right so he can handle his business.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know how this goes. Self Love Show. And breaking down Cern. Going to unpack it. Thought experiment. As always, we have a very important video for you to watch. The More Growth and Development platform, which we are building the Self Love Nation off of. But before that, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. The Higgs-Boson particle, also called the God particle, discovered by CERN scientists in 2012 and thought to give matter its mass, could destroy the universe and we wouldn't see it coming. September 8th, 2014. Once again, the Higgs-Boson particle, also called the God particle, discovered by CERN scientists in 2012 and thought to give matter its mass, could destroy the universe and we wouldn't see it coming. September 8th, 2014, Stephen Hawking. And right here, more growth and development. Silverback More Growth and Development Platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, to shine a light on positive influences. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, to provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
We're closing the gap. We're closing the gap. All right, good brother, and I know you always clue us in with the big number 10. Check your mute.
Yep, number 10. Protect our women and children by any and all means necessary.
Indeed, flesh. All right, so last week, right here on the Self Luv Show, we unpacked flat Earth theory.
Oh yeah.
That one was chock full of jewels.
Yes, lots of information.
Yeah, you know what I realized through the process of giving out information and preparing, I'm learning quite a lot here.
Oh, yes. That's what I discovered, that every single show we have, I learn exponentially.
I'll tell you what, you know, I've been digging more down that rabbit hole. You know?
Yeah.
A lot of weird science. That was a movie, wasn't it? Weird
Science. Yeah, Weird Science definitely.
Yeah. I'm going to have to watch that again because that was probably some sort of Illuminati code with that title. Yeah, so as Self said, tonight's topic is Cern, Unpacked. It's particle physics, and we're going to get into the esoteric side of it in the second half of the show. We'll do our best to give you a scientific breakdown pretty much in the first part of the show. But like, share, subscribe. Self-love. Did you see that video with Cincinnati's finest, Cincinnati PD?
No, you know, I'm unplugged a lot.
Yeah, I know you do stay pretty unplugged. That's all right, though. Big ups to Inside Edition. Big ups, fair use.
Now at 11, racial slurs made by a Cincinnati police officer in uniform. Recently released body cam footage here shows Rose Valentino using a racial slur and also admitting to it.
WCPO 9 News reporter Jake Ryle walks us through this footage.
The city manager in a statement said that the body camera footage is disturbing. Officer Rose Valentino called it an isolated incident, her using a racial slur while on duty.
It's April 5th. Officer Rose Valentino is pulling into CPD District 3. Several cars are parked to pick up students at Western Hills University High School. Officer Valentino activated her lights and siren to get the drivers to move.
You gotta move. Honey. Ridiculous. Is she gonna just sit there?
A black teen who was leaving school raised his middle finger at Officer Valentino, which set Valentino off.
Oh, I hate him so much. God, I hate this
job, kid.
world. I hate it.
Several seconds pass. Valentino then uses a racial slur under her breath.
Hate him.
We dug into Officer Valentino's personnel file. She's a 14-year veteran with CPD. Her performance report shows she consistently meets or exceeds standards for patrolling. She trains officers who recently graduated from the academy. Her supervisors say she's dedicated and a hardworking beat officer, adding she comes to work with a positive, motivated attitude, which is appreciated, and that she does great work. She's been reprimanded in the past for not turning on her body camera multiple times. And this is not the first time Officer Valentino has been on the city's radar for an issue involving race. In November 2018, she was one of 3 police officers involved in a lawsuit where Jerry Isham, a realtor, was showing a home to Anthony Edwards. Both are black. Court docs show she escalated the situation by aiming her gun at the 2 men and then putting them in handcuffs. The city settled the case for $151,000. And in March 2020, while off duty, she pushed and punched 2 family members and used an umbrella to damage a car. She was convicted by plea of disorderly conduct and was referred to a behavioral health center for anger management. Fast forward to the April 5th incident. According to the internal report, Officer Valentino acknowledged her statements weren't appropriate and that she was surprised the racial slur came out, and that it didn't represent who she was as an officer or how she felt about African Americans. She claimed to have been desensitized to racially offensive language by music and hearing people talk on the street. In that report, she said her job is having a negative impact on her mental health, something she's since sought help for.
According to the city manager, the disciplinary hearing process continues. We'll have more updates when they become available. Jake Ryle, WCPO 9 News.
Now to growing outrage.
One thing you always point out, and I saw another case where a guy shot up a college student in this house with his girlfriend because they thought, and he was the wrong guy, they thought he was someone who merely pointed a gun at them, at an officer, didn't fire, and ran into the building. I hadn't even heard about this case. They kicked the door in and he took 73 slugs. Claimed he was armed, none of that's been proven. Anyway, though, come to find out, so he's been indicted for murder, and so he was on administrative paid leave. Come to find out, he was training SWAT officers on how to shoot.
Right.
Currently, no, still.
Yes.
After he was indicted.
I get that part.
And I know you pointed out they're always the training officers.
Yes. That's what they do. I mean, because they want it to go down a certain way. And they put the people in charge that run it like they want it to train. It's that simple. So that'd be like putting DX in charge of the intakes. Yes. It's a systemic problem. They can't say it's not racism involved. They can't say.
No, they absolutely can't say it. What about her assertion that she's been influenced by the music, which I doubt she even listens to, and to, the homies talking on the street using the N-word?
I just use that, like, I think the union probably told her that.
Yeah.
And it's I feared for my life type of plea. You know what I mean? That type of statement, so it could kind of clear some, and I've had help for it. You ain't had no help. You can't help that.
Yeah, and so to the young man who, gave her the bird, that's freedom of speech. That's freedom of expression.
And the way she was yelling and all that.
She had it coming.
Yeah, it was disrespectful.
Yeah. Yelling at the students. What a big job you got to come up there and cuss at the students. I mean, I've always said all ends ain't blacks and all blacks ain't ends, and she's an end.
Yeah, well, that's a cat, due to a definition, she is. Exactly.
Now let's just go on a thought experiment with me, Self. Now, if I had that feeling about pinks and whites, where I hated them, detested them, hated them, you imagine if I had a job out there in Highland Park somewhere, or somewhere alt-right, and I'm a copper out there, and young white kids are flipping me off after I'm cussing at them and stuff, and then I'm caught on cam saying, I hate those effing crackers, right? I'm just going on a thought experiment.
Yeah.
Should I be employed, at least in that area? I mean, if I am, I shouldn't be employed, but should I be over an all-white area? Like, should I be in that position?
Probably not, but white supremacy dictates that the opposite is in place. And she might have forgot her camera was on. That's what it really
thought she had already cut it off.
Because they had said it was multiple times she didn't have her camera.
She's got a history of flicking that camera off.
Yeah. She probably thought that it was off.
I wonder what she was saying and doing when she was flicking it off.
Man.
So then when she escalated on that other case that we covered, and those brothers got like 150 stacks, she escalated. Maybe she escalated simply because it's not always black and white, but maybe she did escalate because she hates N-words.
I would assume that. They assumed that they were breaking and entering, and she acted like that. Even though he's a licensed real estate person, showing a potential home buyer the place.
They're not holding any burglary equipment. They don't look like, the typical, people breaking in at all.
No damage to get in, mind you.
No. So, all right. Thumbs up, not tyranny. Thumbs down, tyranny. Ready?
1, 2.
Yeah, we're both going to be in agreement here with that's tyranny, and it's bigger than her though. It's systematic, as you said.
Yes. Did you see the way that year after year, when he talked about how exemplary her work was?
Yeah.
All of this. I mean, that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, she's doing her job out there.
When they did all the other...
Can we do this on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's doing her job. Yeah. I mean...
sometimes it blows.
It blows. Karen, you blow.
And on that particular case, I know it was a Karen called the police before she came and escalated it.
Yeah, maybe, but I think her job was... That was another thing about it. So her job is to harass the parents and make sure they stay in line and not blocking the street while they're waiting to pick up the students. Like, if somebody was in there with a gun, Jim White guy, she wouldn't have had that attitude.
Well, never mind.
Yeah, we did. We actually did. So, all right, tyranny. All right, so now, like, share, subscribe. You guys, we're covering Cern, Unpacked. Now, we have a video. This is what if they were, I believe, black. Houston's finest. Big ups to Inside Edition. Fair use, educational purposes.
Now to growing outrage over an incident at a Little League baseball tournament in West Houston.
Yeah, parents are furious, saying a coach on the losing team got a little too aggressive with kids during the traditional handshake afterward. That video blowing up on TikTok. Xavier Walton shows us how a moment that's supposed to show good sportsmanship turned out to be just the opposite. Xavier.
Parents say it is hard to believe, but they have the video to prove it.
The game was over, but the drama was just getting started when these two teams lined up to shake hands. Just listen.
That kid hit me hard. The kid hit me hard. No, I got hit right in the head. The kid hit me hard. That coach pulled me back.
Prospects baseball just beat Scorpions Team Easton Red. Watch again. This time watch the coach in khaki shorts, who appears to do a little more than a simple high five.
Nothing in the world gives you a right to go in and do that to kids.
Victor Torres coaches the prospects. Torres says you'd expect it from the kids, but the coach?
They'll come in here and slap you hard on the hand and be like, hey, don't do that, you know? But an adult, you wouldn't expect it.
Here's how Scorpions baseball responded, saying his actions were unacceptable and do not align with our organization's values. We removed him from coaching and from our club around 8:30 a.m. Sunday. The coach seen displaying poor sportsmanship is Kenneth Wendt. He's a member of the Harris County Constable Precinct 5 office. In January of 2021, he was promoted to sergeant, according to Precinct 5's Facebook page.
Look at his skin here. How's that even possible? You know, you hold them to a higher standard, and then you come out here and do that to kids.
A parent from the Scorpions who was at the game defending the former coach, saying, quote, "We have known the Wendt family for 2 years, and Kenny has always been a great husband, father, and coach." As for Coach Torres,
like I tell my kids, we don't lose, we learn.
He says this was a teachable moment for everyone.
You don't do that to 9-year-olds. You don't put your hands on 9-year-olds, especially someone else's child.
And earlier today, I spoke with somebody from the Harris County Constable Precinct 5 office. They said they're aware of the incident and they're looking into it. In Houston, Xavier Walton, KHOU 11 News.
Not good sportsmanship. All right, Xavier, thank you.
Okay. Pink stink. The first kid whose arm he tried to rip off, he could have injured him, was wearing 42, Jackie Robinson's number. But go ahead, bro.
I mean, he was literally trying to ruin their arms.
Yeah.
If they're right-handed, he was taking it and extending it back, and he knew what he was doing. Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I bet you 42 was a pitcher too, and he was stepping into their line. You saw he was just
I mean, he could do as much damage as he could. Like, he literally was taking the whole thing and pushing it behind them.
And you see how the Karen parent, you know, and this is for our community, when one of us is doing something ignorant, either take a big cup of what? STFU. Either take a big cup of that, or, you know, say some pleasantries about the guy. Don't pile on and start saying, you know, he's a savage, and I don't know why our people act like that. Why? Why are we the only people that do that pile on each other when ignorance is displayed by an individual?
We're trained, you know.
Conditioned
and taught that.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you something. I know you're a parent and you're a baseball player, and so you're at the game, and number 42 is your kid. Okay.
It wouldn't go too well.
You know?
You know, knowing that he's a constable.
They may not have known it. Whether or not I've known it or not, he's not a constable at that point.
Like I said, it wouldn't have gone too well, even knowing that.
Right. My job as a father is to protect my little ones. But now, you know, so I just want to ask you this before we move forward in the show. What if that big constable was colored, and those boys you were doing that to
were a little charged?
Yeah. And the newscasters would have been saying more than, that's poor sportsmanship.
Yeah, a lot more. And it would not have been a comment that would had his back, talking about husband, father, and coach.
No. Great
Savage,
point.
Devil, evil.
That's a great point. And they'd be calling for his job more voraciously than that. Ferociously than that.
I think he might have himself a problem with that. I don't know. if
That's
they
going to
show
happen.
that
They said
out
they're
there.
investigating. What is there to investigate? You got it filmed.
It all depends on enough people come out and say something.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to lose. They said about losing a coaching job. Yeah, but
he already lost the coaching job. I'm talking about
Yeah,
the
he's a
constable.
sergeant.
I don't think he should be able to police if he was willing to do that to some 9-year-olds.
We just saw the Karen and saying she hates N-words and she still got a job. We just discussed the pink man who shot up the innocent black college student. He was a student athlete at HBCU, a good one too. You know what I mean? He still got a job. I mean, so do you think they really care about pulling a few Latinx, Hispanics arms out of socket? You think they care?
I know they don't care, but that's where the people come in. The people got to care. People got to hit them up and call for that.
Yeah, well, a lot of my Latinx brothers, they still believe in this melting pot. A lot of them are kind of like Coach. They want to just keep their heads down and work because, you know what I mean? And so, if I was an officer and I'm coaching, and that's my community, this is a great time. They wonder why, quote unquote minorities and quote unquote people of color are uncooperative and don't come forward and trust them. You've had incidents like this when you were young. So this would have been a chance for him to be earning those children's trust, telling them, great game, I'm an officer. If you ever need anything, contact me, to be getting his contacts, to be developing little snitches if that's what he wants to do. But no. He wants to rip their arms off.
Yeah. Be emotional piece of crap.
Right. The emotion that they always put on us.
Yeah, and he go out there and striking 9-year-olds. That wasn't the only one he did. They were going down the line saying, he hit hard.
Some of those kids
he yanked me back. Like, what?
Some of those kids were smart though. They were stepping right around them. They were seeing what was going on in front of them. Yeah. Some of them were, but all of them didn't catch it.
They're 9.
Ace said, and I agree, and I've been saying this for years, that forced lineup and handshake after a game, they just need to quit that. They don't do it in the majors. They tip your hat, right? Tip your hat, the coaches to each other,
Especially at that age or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, even in basketball, I remember people saying a little slick stuff, and you're in that line. You know what I mean? Not necessarily to me, but they would say slick stuff. And, they're not showing sportsmanship, talking crap up and down the line.
Not at all.
No. So, all right. So, I agree with you, though. If he was black, there would have been charges. The police department would have been talking about charges because what you saw there was assault.
Completely. To a 9-year-old.
Correct. There's no way he should be licensed to carry a gun and he should have policeman powers and a badge. Yeah. All right, so you guys like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in the building. We want to hear about how you guys feel about that in the chat. Phone lines are open, 424-900-6945, 424-900-6945. Tonight's topic is the Low Hydrogen Collider, CERN, as you guys may have heard about. Mighty funny. They don't really break down in layman's terms what it is and what they're doing. They use these big scientific words. And we'll get into that a little later. And so now, before we go to topic self, we got today's dome teaser. We got the Riddler right there. Here we go, Self Love. Get your thumb ready. A man dies of old age on his 25th birthday. How is this possible? A man dies of old age on his 25th birthday. How is this possible? Self Love's typing in his key. You guys feel free to beat Self Love to the punch. We know there's a delay, so we'll give you credit. A man dies of old age on his 25th birthday. How's this possible? Self still hasn't typed it. All right. Let's see. All righty. Looks like his thumbs up was true. But enough of the appetizers out there, Self.
Let's quench the self-love nation's thirst.
All right. Let's roll the promo video. We're going to jump right into Cern Unpacked. We're going to get it unpacked. All right, and then next week we'll see what we got. We're working on.
So it's been nearly a week since the CERN particle accelerator was turned back on. So far, no new paranormal phenomenons. I did some research this morning, and I don't really understand what it is either. But the experiment is making some nervous that it could create a cosmic black hole.
If not, of course, we'll get a riveting topic for you.
When people say what is happening at CERN, for the most part, I believe that people are speaking of this machine right here. I believe they believe this is CERN, and that is not correct. So we need to do just a little backtracking and clearly define what it is that we are speaking of. So what is CERN? CERN is the name of an organization, not a machine or technology. CERN is a European research organization that operates the largest particle physics laboratory in the world. What they say is that the name CERN is derived from the acronym for the French, but as you learn more about them, you may see that it is not a coincidence that their name is short for the name of the Celtic pagan horn god of the underworld, Cernunnos.
That'll be next week at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
The boson is part of what physicists call the Standard Model, a way of explaining what for 13.8 billion years has held particles together, maintaining our universe. There's just one problem. No scientist had ever detected it. That's where the Large Hadron Collider comes in.
So we're accelerating protons in opposite directions to very high energies in a 27-kilometer long tunnel, and then we bring them to collisions in different interaction points where we have then experiments essentially recording them.
6 p.m. here on the left coast, because the Self Love Show, what?
Must go on.
Hey bros, what's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already.
It's gonna make you feel good. Do you still have them?
I got mine.
Got mine.
Gotta change it. Have you ever had them?
Yes. A lot of them don't still got them though, so.
Those who had them, that's true.
What's the point of life?
That's very true. All right, so we're going to jump into the topic. So today, the purpose of this show is to define CERN at a rudimentary level, put it in layman's terms so that the average everyday world person, human being, can understand what's going on. We're going to break down what CERN's purpose is, its goals, discoveries, potential dangers, and then alternative esoteric viewpoints, which comes from the average human mind when they're meditating on such an experiment. And as always, open minds to have you jaunt down the rabbit hole yourself. I think there's a reason, which we're going to question at the end of the show, why everything about CERN is so tongue-in-cheek. Doesn't tell you how much money is being invested in such, and go from there. So, what is CERN? To the chat, Self Love. What is CERN, and where is it?
It's a organization in Europe, I think Switzerland to be exact, where they are running a bunch of experiments that seem to like try to partially mimic what the Big Bang theory or whatever. And they said that they discovered the God particle.
Scientists don't believe in God.
There's scientists that do.
Yeah, but they don't. But they always
they're trying to play God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as above, so below. So they're smaller particles. So they're going on a mission that is infinite.
Yeah, it is. It's a rabbit hole. I've always said when I was learning geometry, everything can be cut in half. Everything. All right, but here we go. So the European Organization for, great definition by the way, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, in French is the Organisation Européenne pour la Recherche Nucléaire, known as CERN. Derived from the name Conseil Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire, it's a European research organization that operates the largest particle physics laboratory in the world. It was established in 1954. The organization is based in a northwest suburb of Geneva, and it's right on the Franco-Swiss or the French-Swiss border, and it currently has 23 member states. Israel, for some reason, is the only non-European country granted full membership. CERN is an official United Nations observer. Comments on that before I go further?
Well, I mean, those people that stay over there, they have their hands in most of the organizations that run the world.
Yeah, a lot of money is hidden over there in the Swiss banks. They tend to stay neutral in the wars. They tend to profit off of the wars,
Yeah.
Interesting location. The acronym CERN is also used to refer to the laboratory, which in 2019 had 2,660 scientific, technical, and administrative staff members and hosted about 12,400 users from institutions in more than 70 countries. In 2016, CERN generated 49 petabytes of data. That sounds like a lot. The member countries, Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Israel, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Serbia, Slovakia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and United Kingdom. What do you notice is missing from that list?
What was it again? I was looking at petabyte. I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad you were doing that. Well, that list of the member states that are involved in CERN directly, none of them were a melanated list. I mean, some would say Spain, but
no.
Right.
I mean, not the Spanish people so-called or whatever, but
Yeah, they speak Spanish, but they not one people of color is a member state. That's weird. So potentially, I'm going to be hyperbolic. They could blow up the world, and we can have nothing, nothing to do with it.
Right.
And I wonder why we're not involved or why we weren't invited. Not one African nation, not one South American nation.
Because those are what they consider First Nations. They don't consider Second Nations and Third Nations as people of concern or who should be involved with anything. Just dictated to.
Once again, they're missing out because whatever they're looking for probably would have been found already if you had some melanin in there.
Well, absolutely. It's the foolishness of white supremacy.
Yep, the foolishness of hate. Now we got some associate members. These are associate members. I do see a little melanin, I think.
Oh man.
Go ahead. Petabyte. What is it?
2 to the 50th power of bytes.
Where is all that data going? Up in the cloud?
No, they probably probably not. They probably got servers for that. Because if it's in the cloud, it can be accessed by someone else.
That's a lot of data. Now, which is probably why they're so big on blockchain.
Yeah.
Now, the associate member states are Croatia, Cyprus, Estonia, India, there's some melanin, Lithuania, Pakistan, Slovenia, Turkey, the Ukraine, and Latvia. Those are the associate members. Now, we're going to play, in this case, devil's advocate. So the science in you and, the conscious you as opposed to the subconscious you, how could CERN be applied to aid humanity? What good can come from it, potentially?
Conscious me is saying they can advance science. So there could be, by them even being able to hold that much data in one place at one time, means that there can be a lot of advancement in science and teleportation and things of that sort, if just off the top of my mind.
So potential the ability to store data, pretty much.
Oh, it doesn't really have much to do with CERN, but they have DNA drives now that can hold way more data than that. Way more data.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure CERN probably can too. They just haven't gotten it yet. And that was 2019.
They might have it already.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, because that was just 1 year. All right, so that they told us about. Now, I'm trying to think of what good can come from this, just me talking. Yeah, some sort of scientific advancement, but I really can't put my fingers on it. Maybe time travel, I don't know if that's good for humanity. But what I can say, though, is it's a lot of rumors on who did it, but apparently they created the internet. All right. So just going to break down what they've done. In 1973, the discovery of neutral currents in the Gargamel bubble chamber. I thought he was a Smurf.
Man, they put stuff in, plain sight.
Yeah. So the discovery of neutral currents in the Gargamel bubble chamber, I don't know what that means. The discovery of W and Z bosons in the UA1 and the UA2 experiments was in 83. So it's 10 years before significant something. In 1989, the determination of the number of light neutrino families at the Large Electron-Positron Collider operating on the Z boson peak. 1995, the first creation of antihydrin atoms. Never heard of that. 1999, the discovery of direct CP violation in the Na48 experiment. 2000, the heavy ion program discovered new state of matter, the quark gluon plasma. I remember reading
that.
Yeah. 2010, another 10 years jumps by. The isolation of 38 atoms of antihydrin. So look up antihydrin. 2011, maintaining antihydrin for over 15 minutes. And in 2012, a boson with mass around 125 GeV, C2 consistent, carbon 2, I guess, consistent with the long sought Higgs boson. All right, you got some data on antihydrin?
How do you spell that? Antihydrogen?
Hydrogen, yeah, my bad. Antihydrogen.
Yeah. The antimatter equivalent of hydrogen.
Wow.
So I knew that. I kind of figured it was antimatter because
wow.
That's why Stephen Hawking could say that it could destroy the universe.
Yeah. And that's a scientist.
Yeah. And they're dealing a lot and trying to figure out what black.
He said they could potentially destroy the universe and we would never know.
Right.
Because we'll just be gone.
Right.
All right.
He's he don't believe in he's an atheist though, so so that part.
Yeah, like most of those scientists are. You guys like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. We're unpacking CERN, CERN. All right, Self, do you have any idea about how much it costs to build such a mammoth experiment and then its potential budgeting?
Ooh-wee. I don't even know if they have a budget for that. Building it, that probably was $1 trillion or something.
Well, when it was built, it was a while back, so it's probably in that money. So apparently it took 10 years to build the LHC, and the overall cost of the creation is said to have been around $4.75 billion. Here's a mind-blowing fact. CERN utilizes 1.3 terawatt hours of electricity annually. That's enough power to fuel 300,000 homes for a year in the United Kingdom. So the power they're using is the power of 300,000 homes in the UK where people aren't, poor, and they're using their power and charging their Teslas and burning their AC. But the energy needs changes from month to month as the seasons shift and the experimental load or requirements are adjusted. Annual operation costs. Electricity costs alone for the LHC run about $23.5 million per annum. The total operating budget for the LHC runs to about $1 billion per annum. The Large Hadron Collider was first turned on in August of 2008, and it stopped for repairs from September through November in 2009. Big numbers. Any banter?
Yeah, well, you know, when you're trying to play God, you got to pay the piper.
Why don't you play God and feed some of these hungry people and house some of our unhoused?
Because the people that
Pay
fund
reparations.
this say we are useless eaters and we are using up their resources. Useless eaters.
They're using up our resources.
Yes, and some breeders.
Yeah,
they want
they're
us
using up
out of here.
They're using up our resources.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, Tupac said they got money for wars but can't feed the poor. You know, we got money for grandiose experiments, and you keep saying that they want to play God, but yet they claim to be atheists, and that's something. It's a
conundrum.
Something, yes, we're going to address as the show goes on, but yes, it makes me believe that they're not truly atheists. And how can you believe in Satan if you don't believe in God? See, so these people will be doing.
A lot of these people who are saying they're atheists is under a guise. That's all. They say that they don't believe in God. So
because that's what a Satanist would do. Not all, but that's what many Satanists would do. If I was a Satanist, I would go around telling people there is no God. That's
exactly.
Yeah. You know. All right.
There's a lot of connotation with saying I worship Satan.
Right. All right. Right. Okay, so how is it funded? You have any idea? Well, how do you think it's funded?
There's all of these nations that are first tier and second tier are funding it in a large way, but it's getting funding from elsewhere too. But I'm not exactly
let's
sure
stop
where
right
that
there.
is from.
Well, go back to your point, which is true. So all those nations, the 23 nations plus the second tier ones, they're funding it, and that money is coming from where?
The people of those nations.
Correct. So all of the people of those nations are funding it, and great point. So the money itself is provided by the CERN member countries, which you said, and a little over 70% of the annual budget is provided by Germany, the UK. Listen to these countries, these Illuminati countries. A little over 70% of the annual budget is provided by Germany, Hitler, the UK, Italy, France, and Spain, the slave drivers.
All of them right there, the same area. Okay.
The money for the experiments also comes from large institutions such as universities, which is why we say defund the Ivy League, and observer governments such as the United States, us, you and I, if you pay taxes, India, and Russia. So we don't like Russia, but we're involved in something that Russia is funding.
That's a farce that we don't. I mean, that's a farce. That's the Cold War soap opera or the Cold War play.
You're right. It's a farce. It's a farce, and they're big on how's that go, Self? Creating order from chaos, which means they would need to create chaos.
Right, create chaos, and
kill off the useless eaters. Yeah. I mean that's how how much fund is costing the world, CERN is costing the world, and we just broke down to you where they allege the funding's coming from. I'm with you, Self Love. I believe that they're also getting funding from other private entities and individuals as well. People are conducting experiments that are under the table. Could be conducting under the table experiments, and they could even be getting money from, military. That's why Russia and the U.S. is involved. Didn't see anything about China. Just didn't see anything about China come up in that. China.
China don't have to come up in everything because it's a whole lot of people opposed to China, more opposed to China than Russia, let's say, but y'all know what it is. Yep. It's halftime. Self Luv Show. CERN Unpacked. Got into some definitions and breakdown of it. Gonna get into much more in the second half. All love, honor, respect. It's halftime. Right? Y'all know how it go. Got some good videos for you to check out. And we'll be right back.
In 6 minutes. It's 3 videos, so.
All right.
What's the point of life? Lie? Why do we do it? And what's the point of strife? Pimps and whores see right through it. They see fluid. All Johns ain't saints, and St. John knew it. Tricks are preachers, 12 disciples, and so-called druids. See, solid. Get married and have shorties after college. So what's the point? Vibrate love, go share knowledge. Silence is violence. Stupid is as stupid does. Join the Give Back Gang Alliance. Gang, gang.
Brother, I'm wiping it though. I'm gonna wipe it. I'm gonna say, hey.
Tori's oldest brother. Between us, Tori made me at Beta, and so he just wanted to say a few words before we let you go here.
Okay. Yeah,
Brother Thomas, thank you so much for gracing us with your appearance, man. Grateful. You expanded our nation beyond belief. It's just a wonderful thing. And we would like to present you with the Self Luv Show first annual Ernest Lee Thomas Achievement Award.
Oh man.
It's apropos that you are the first recipient.
And Noop, we call it the Raj.
We're gonna call it the Raj.
Oh, I love it. Oh man.
Yeah, so we have it on order. So it's gonna come here. We're gonna show it to the show, and then myself or Tasia deliver it to you or ship it to you from there.
Thank you, brother.
In arrears, like for real. I mean, the particulars are another thing, but I'm absolutely for reparation.
No doubt, no doubt. Are there any myths or stereotypes of like black men or women, from Chicago area that you would like to clear up for the Self Love Nation?
Yeah. She probably eating chicken and watermelon right now. So.
Before I got on one. I can't speak for the city. I mean, the suburbs, people think the people from the suburbs soft anyway, but I think they think people may be rude or harsh or, something like that, but that's not the case. I mean, I don't know any particular stereotypes from my area per se. I guess coming down here, you get some of it. Like they think because you're from a larger area that you feel like maybe you better than, people from down here, or that you feel like it's country down here. I mean, when we came, we didn't like townies, and now I'm a certified townie, and I birthed 2 townies, which is hilarious.
Hold on. For context, which she means by townies, for anybody who doesn't know, those are people who were born and raised on the college campus, and we come down there and come to their town and label them as townies.
We did, because on campus, like we stayed on campus. I know I did. We didn't leave campus except to go to Meijer, because that used to be the only grocery store. But when you go to the parties, it was for U of I students. You had to have your ID, but the townies was always trying to come in the party. They always started the fights, and then they always was the one shooting outside. So I got jumped by 4 townies my sophomore year.
Well, listen,
4 townies girls. I did.
Listen. All my friends who were against one gang, their kids are in that gang. Or if they were against certain fraternities, their kids are in that fraternity. So now guess what? Your boys are townies.
They really are?
By definition.
I'd be mad. I'm like, dang it. But I done
did. That's great.
Big ups to the townies, though, straight up.
Yeah, because, we needed that. They needed foundation from us, and we needed the foundation from them.
True.
Fact.
They held down the city. We were just visiting, really.
A lot of my townies were plugs.
Yeah.
I bet.
TATN.
That'll make 2 appearances already.
Okay. Suki, what would you do to see foundational Black Americans do to prosper?
Well, what do they need to do?
Yeah, what would you like them see them do?
See them do. We need to get more knowledge about a lot of stuff, like stocks, education around finance.
What's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
Got in mind.
Ditto, Dano, ditto. You got yours? Type of nut in the chat.
Facts.
Slow.
Yeah.
I'ma show the world what they don't
For
know.
sure.
I'ma be the one.
Uh-huh.
I'ma be the one when I'm done.
Ain't lying, y'all.
If I made it this far, if I made it this far, I can be anywhere. If I made it this far, if I made it this far,
Wow.
Welcome back. The Self Luv Show. Cern, Unpacked. Thought experiment. Like I said before, broke down a lot about the foundational definitions and what they do and all that. And now we're going to explore more.
Facts. We did the overplay. Now we're gonna jump into the underlay. And big ups to Trifmac. This one's Anywhere. Big ups Trifo. There was a. Alright, let me cut it down. I don't know what that's all about. Still distorting?
No, you good now.
Okay. Yeah. Must have been a bot.
Yeah, it's trying to balance it or something.
Probably so. All right, yeah, it was on Blair. So Wakil L, Minister Wakil, what up? He said, yes, other private investors are mostly the ones that invest on things that kill, control, and poison the population.
Yeah, a lot of that. That's facts.
Yeah, I'd be a monkey's uncle. I don't believe in what's that? We came from monkey. We can't be jumped out of the water.
Evolution, man.
Yeah. Flapped out of the water, and somehow our
that's
gills
a certain
turned
group.
into
That's a
lungs.
certain group of people's story. That's not our story though.
Flapped out of the water, and then instead of me dying, somehow my gills turned into lungs over time, over different generations. I don't know. We'll stay out of it. Maybe they were hybrid. I don't know. But my point is, other private investors are most ones that. I'd be a monkey's uncle if I didn't believe that Gates allegedly has his hands in it.
Well, you already know.
Fuckerberg. What's the big head guy from Amazon?
Soros or whatever.
Is that Soros? But no. Amazon is somebody else. The big one looks like an alien.
Yeah.
Hey Siri, who's the founder of Amazon?
All of them look like an alien. Everybody that you just named.
One sec. Jeff Bezos created Amazon.
Bezos.
Yes, Bezos.
Yeah.
And Soros. Shit. They all
George
look like
George
aliens.
Soros. Yeah.
Yes, they all look like them.
And then the other ones that got blue globs of money that aren't even known.
Well, those are the ones that's really doing it, because they that's all they have, is that they don't do anything else but contribute to that. Because plans are in place that have been in place for a long time for these group of people.
Yeah, and the only time they do something quote unquote for the people's self is when they can get a tax break so they can save that money and use it for more evil. Many of them.
Yeah, I mean, most of their tax breaks don't really help anybody.
No.
So
Well, they're creating jobs, for robots.
Yeah, and that's all they got is fiat. They don't put any work into it. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no energy, nothing.
Just money. And then they use all of their mind power or whatever to do what fuckery.
Yeah, they don't create anything. Yeah. All right. So well said. So, as Self said, we are going to jump into the underlay. We did the overplay. We're going to get into some more of the esoteric stuff. And this is more a thought experiment off our domes from the soul. So, Self, you were a young lad once upon a time, and, and this place existed, but not to the level that it exists now. But there's a lot of hubbub on the internet, on Twitter. I'm sure you've come across it. You're a big Twitter guy. About CERN being an overplay for an interdimensional portal. And some have claimed from the area that whenever they cut that thing on, oftentimes you start to see UAPs or UFOs appear.
Facts. And they say that it opens not really wormholes that a lot of people say, but gaps in the dimensions. And
yes,
so it's interdimensional. So that's a little different than a so-called wormhole or what have you. And that's something, because it has been theorized that a lot of UAPs are interdimensional and not extraterrestrial, which would, like you saying the firmament is porous or what have you, that could explain that, because it's another dimensional situation.
Yeah, and many of the Christians say that, you know, they're using it to conjure demons and people out of hell, or entities out of hell, up to and including the Satan.
I mean, which could, I mean, of sorts.
They could be trying to do it. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, I mean, interdimensional don't mean we're opening it to higher beings or whatever. It just means it's open. And whatever can come in can come in. So, I mean, it could be open to lower. I think it's a bridge to dimensions. It's what they're doing.
But they can only keep it open for like milliseconds.
Yeah, they can't keep it open. At certain frequencies they can though, because they did it before and they were able to do it for 14 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah. Who knows what was allowed in.
Yeah, they said they maintained anti-hydrogen for over 15 minutes in 2011.
Yes. So got to think back.
But you remember that movie Stargate?
Oh yeah. Yep. I liked that movie. I watched it. And and it was a TV series and I watched that too. Yeah. Yeah. They tell you a lot of stuff in these shows and all that. It's just, it's a fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and here's an article, Self, from mic.com, mic.com. Seems like it should be a hip-hop something or other, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's not. People think scientists, the title is, People Think Scientists Are Opening Hell Portals with Their Particle Collider. After a 3-year hiatus for repairs and upgrades, the LHC operated by CERN is back online. Scientists operating the world's largest particle collider are once again searching for the existence of the fundamental particle known as the Higgs boson, particles known as the Higgs boson, which appeared after the Big Bang, or at least that's what they want you to believe. You see, while scientists claim to be researching the origins of the universe and have produced massive amounts of research and scholarship to back this up, the truth tellers on Twitter know better. The LHC is no tool for understanding our own existence. It is instead a tool to usher in the apocalypse and open a portal to hell. All of this was foretold by the ancient and predictive scroll known as Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Parsing this is an exercise in futility because the theories that people have cooked up about CERN's particle collider are certified bonkers. But there is a surprisingly not so small contingent of internet sleuths who are pretty sure they've discovered the true purpose of the machine, and we shouldn't ignore the facts of these people who exist. Deciding which collider conspiracy you'd like to believe is a bit of a choose-your-own adventure, but you would like some faith and religion sprinkled in there. Try CERN is summoning the devil on for size. The evidence: CERN has 666 in its logo, and the collider's loop is 16.6 miles in circumference, which is apparently close enough to the devil's number to count. In this telling story, CERN is opening a portal to hell under the Earth's surface. Maybe you're more into the supernatural. Perhaps the shadow people conspiracy is more your speed. CERN is inviting in shadow people from another dimension. You'll be able to spot these people. I saw one in the courtyard, in the courtway where you live. You'll be able to spot these people, amorphous black clouds in the outline of a human. I sure saw it. He's like, looked like he was wearing a pea coat and a brim, but it was all a shadow. In peripheral vision, I saw him on my peripheral. It's unclear what they do other than chill, but it does seem bad to invite interdimensional beings onto our plane. If you fancy yourself more of a puzzle box type person who likes to piece together a mystery, then Hollywood has been warning us. According to these experts, some of the sci-fi stories told in the last few years have been preparing us for CERN's true intention, opening up a portal. The proof? The movie Stranger Things did it, and so did the last entry in the Doctor Strange franchise. I gotta check out both of those. A good question for any of these conspiratorial explanations for the LHC is simple: why? Like, why would scientists do these things? Presumably, the answer is that they are controlled by Shaitan, or just too arrogant to restrain themselves. But frankly, if scientists are creative enough to build a machine that could rip a hole into our very reality, surely they can come up with something better than a middling entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's really weird because every time they turn that thing on, some things that we fundamentally know as truth becomes a little altered. Is the butterfly effect? Mandela effect. Yeah, butterfly effect. Every time they do, so it's it's a slight alter to the timeline. And I don't even know what to say about it. Every time they cut this machine on, it's a slight alter.
Well, self-love, that article, it was, you know how the Inquirer, the Onion, how it's supposed to be slapstick over the top, but there's been a whole lot of truth inside those things, and most people won't even bother to read it because they consider it all junk. That's what that article felt like to me, like what you said on another show. They have to get the truth out there because the truth will reveal itself. And so they'll package it up like that,
Called conspiracy theory. It's
a
conspiracy theory, and it's a conspiracy theory. It's right there. You better watch him. That guy.
Hollywood.
He's a conspiracy theorist right there. That guy right there.
And Hollywood is just a magic stick, sorcerer's stick.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Literally.
Yeah. It's the wand. The magic wand is made of Hollywood.
From the holly tree. Yeah. Right there in your face. Of all the names they could have come up with. Right?
Even CERN, right?
Right. Correct. I didn't know about that 666 part.
Well, it's in so many logos that, it's not, you'd have to really look at it. I haven't looked at it or saw that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
They say the yo is 666, bro.
Well, the way they're doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they talking about just the form of it, which I disagree with. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I see it now.
I ain't paying no attention to it. Maybe I need to look at it.
I see it now. I'm gonna text it to you so you can this is crap.
Hold on, I should be able to just
show it on your screen. Yeah, let me cut my camera off.
Oh no, I haven't gotten it yet.
Just Google CERN logo, Google Images.
That's what I was doing with this. Okay.
You see it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never looked at it. If I had looked at that, I would have already seen that.
Yeah. You can show it on your screen. Yeah.
Shoot, camera.
Well, that light. Okay, yeah, there it is. Hold it right there, steady. You guys see it? I see a 9, but if you turn those
9 upside down is a 6.
There's 3 of them too.
Yes.
Wow. Why? Is that coincidence?
And I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe in much, but I know that it's not a coincidence.
And even if it, the reason I don't believe in coincidence is because sometimes the universe is telling you something, right? So it might have coincidentally happened, but it's not a coincidence that it happened.
Yeah, it's no coincidentally happening either, because I understand where you're coming from
Right.
with that.
Right.
But when you do the etymology of coincidence, it don't amount to the current definition that we have. So to me, it does not mean that.
Well, that's what your girl, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing in the ISIS papers was talking a lot about those symbols going into your subconscious.
Yes.
Like the big white penis in D.C.
Yes.
You know, there's a law that no building can be taller than that.
I'm not.
So I had to think to
surprised.
myself, have you went there for the million? We were there. I don't think I saw any skyscrapers there.
It's nothing that tall.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I mean, they didn't even need to make office space. You understand what I'm saying? The need for this, we have a need, we can create jobs. They didn't change that law.
No, they made an obelisk.
Correct. They made a big white man's penis, and nothing's going to be bigger than that. And it's according to her, and it's a subconscious penis right there, and everybody's right there for the world to see it. Nothing's going to block it or stand taller than it.
It's got its own area and zone anyway.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about the interdimensional portal. We're covering CERN Unpacked. You guys like, share, subscribe. What about this theory about Cernunos? So let me show you here. Change my virtual background. So you guys see it? Cernunos. Is this a coincidence? So this is outside of the large collider. It's a big statue out in front of it. Why? Why is this out in front of CERN? And so they got their name. Is it a coincidence that that acronym became the first 4 letters of this potential demon's? Could they be trying to summon this demon?
Well, let's talk about the demon, and then we could know for sure.
Well, glad you mentioned it. Cernunnos was an ancient Celtic god who represented nature, flora, fauna, and fertility. Those white supremacists need fertility. Is frequently depicted in Celtic art wearing stag antlers. See it? Wearing stag antlers or horns, and usually a torque around its neck. Yeah, well, I got rid of a lot of it. Because of him on the Gundestrup cauldron, some scholars describe Cernunnos as the Lord of the Animals or the Lord of Wild Things, and Miranda Green describes him as a peaceful god of nature and fruitfulness, who seems to be seated in a manner that suggests traditional shamans who were often depicted.
Wow. To me, she sounds like the Karen that sided with the coach shoot, calling him that. You know what I mean? Yes, this is not. It depends on your perspective. If this deity or whatever they want to call it is positive or negative, it's all in perspective. If you want the way this planet is going right now, you might perceive it as,
Lord
correct.
of the animals or the wild things. Now, many could say that the pinks are wild things.
They are.
Could this be their god?
Yes, just like it's the same as the goat that they,
and then they do this,
that they praise and all that. The horns.
You don't see many black folks doing this.
You do. You see a lot of people in Hollywood, or musicians, rappers do that, and then so a lot of black people do it.
It must be recent rappers. Name a rapper you've seen doing this. Maybe Jigga. I don't know. I've never seen it.
I can bring up of all of that. This,
just name a couple.
This and this same thing.
Well, this, but this, I hear you.
No. I said this and
okay, yeah.
This.
Yeah, those are the horns.
Yeah, them the same thing, and a lot of them.
I think Lil Weezy, I've seen Wayne do it.
Man, I'm saying like all of them same people that cover their eye and all of that, and do this over their eye. Same people do that.
But could they not know?
It's very possible. It's cool to do.
Mick Jagger doing that.
Right. I mean, it could be they don't know. But it's still,
But I was just saying, overall, for the most part, I'm talking about everyday black people. I see more white people doing this than I see black people doing it.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying maybe this is their God. I mean, it's just, thought experiment.
I mean, just like goat God too.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe it's one and the same.
Yeah.
The goat could be Sir Nunos' son or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, or whatever being it posed as for the people where it was at.
Facts. And the reason I'm stuck on this, Snoop, I used to read the quatrains.
I couldn't think about
the Baphomet. Yeah, I used to, I read Notre Dame's, his quatrains. And when people break that down, they say Mussolini was the first Antichrist, to come, and then Hitler, and it's supposedly one walking the earth now. But they're basing it all off of Nostradamus' quatrains, and they said that not Himmler, it was the other person that was associated with Hitler, Boyles or Burgles or what's his name? You know what I'm talking about, something like Burgles or something. His wife, she was into black magic, and so was Hitler. But
all of them.
Yeah, but his wife had determined that Hitler fit the quatrain. If you look at they called him Hister.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mussolini. So I guess what I'm trying to say is these people, whether they're right or wrong, they'll say, oh, Tory fits that, and so we got to prop them up there, and this is they're trying to make these prophecies come true.
They're not trying. They're putting someone in place to make them come true. Like that's why it says thousands of years into these plans, and you know, hundreds of years ago, they they use his quatrains sort of similar to revelations in the so-called Bible.
That's what I forgot. They said Napoleon supposedly was predicted by him in 1555, and Napoleon was 1789, and I was thinking like, man, I thought Napoleon was before that, but it wasn't. He's very recent.
No.
So
yes,
they said when Napoleon, the reason why he took over France was to go to Nostradamus' tomb. So some weird stuff going on, that if you're diabolical, or if you can make yourself believe that that's you in those legends, and you can make others believe it. I don't know, or maybe it's true. I don't know. That's what you're saying.
Well,
you know,
what I'll tell you is that history is his story, and it's a whole lot. They burned a whole lot of books. They called it the Dark Ages when they burned the books, and they called the Renaissance when they took credit for the books that they burned. So, or so-called burned, because they still had the books, but you know what I mean? They took credit for it. So it's I dread to think of the untruth that is history.
So do you think it's plug and play? Meaning, if you carry on like a prophecy, then the prophecy comes true? Or do you think it's literally the one, or the person that... Remember, that was in the Matrix. If you believe you're the one. Remember, it was some real esoteric discussions going on between the Oracle and Neo.
And yet he didn't believe he was.
But everybody else did.
Yes.
For most people. Right.
And she knew he was. But his words made it less until he believed it. There was a point where he believed it and knew it.
Well, because she told him, well, Trinity believed it too. Yeah.
Right. Trinity knew it. She didn't believe it.
Because the Oracle said the man you fall in love with is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah,
a mind fuck, actually. So.
It is. So Cernunnos, we covered Cernunnos, and it's just awfully coincidental that they got that statue out in front of that place, Self, and the beginning of that name is CERN. That
happenstance is in no way, shape, or form happenstance. It's to get and galvanate the people in that area to respect and honor the myths and or whatever from the area. And it would explain a lot. But, not the God of nature. There's no way the God of nature come from those countries that you named and where it's located.
Correct. I got reason to believe my supervisor might be watching this show, because she hit me back in a question I asked. The math ain't mathing. I was like, you sound like the co-host.
Yeah, the math rarely maths.
Yeah.
Math rarely maths. Be like, wait a minute, what? Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Let me find out what happened. Because you hear a spark or something and be like, hold on, let me look into and use discernment.
Facts. Well, let's get to the next question. Why do you think, as we wrap it up, we're very close, why do you think the everyday people, the masses, the goyim, the useless eaters, why do you think we aren't made clearly aware of CERN's interworkings, and why aren't the experiments that it's conducting public information?
because they don't have to, and they don't think us worthy. It goes all the way back to them not seeing us as human, which we're not human. They're the humans. We are man and woman, and they are
I'll
human.
go with that, but I'd like to add that they're hiding something. They're keeping something hidden. And I feel like if we knew what was truly going on, we just may go blow the place up.
Absolutely. Because it's not for our benefit, shape, or form in any way. And they are tinkering with the timelines on purpose to try to stay in power. It's a move of desperation. And unfortunately, white doesn't mean melanation. It's a status. So in none of those countries that are dealing with this heavily consider themselves as us. They consider themselves as white, because it's a status, not an ethnicity based on your nationality.
Any weapons potential here? And you heard Stephen Hawkins is...
It's absolutely a weapon if they can alter the timeline.
Yeah, and I think there's supposed to be a lot of energy in the antimatter. It could potentially, I guess, produce energy or produce super weapons.
Well, antimatter actually propels a lot of the UAPs, allegedly. Spirit telling me, like, it's a balance that they're using to be able to propel at the speeds way faster than light.
Well, it's funny. I'm glad you mentioned that. I read an article. They said, this blew my mind, Nope. They say they found a particle that was moving faster than the speed of light, right? And they released that information. And then they came back and said, oh, it was a mechanical error. And the error that they said was so stupid, it like insulted my intelligence. What they said, that it took 2 weeks to figure out that it was a bad read. But yeah, supposedly they discovered a particle moving faster than the speed of light.
Speed of thought. It's faster than speed of light.
Yeah. Yeah. But then they released the information and then they pulled it back.
Because somebody told the truth when they didn't want it released.
And
I told you that they are hundreds of years ahead of what we know about technology. Hundreds of years. I used to say 200. I'm thinking it's further than that, because they're actually bringing back all of the ancient technology. You know.
Yeah, and they stole all the Tesla's. We got to do a show on Tesla. They stole all his.
Oh man.
Crates of information. He had
all of his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're waiting on him to die. They might have made him die. I don't know.
Yeah, he was pretty old, but there is a theory that they deaded him.
Yeah,
you know?
he said he wasn't from here too. That's on the record. He said he's from Uranus.
Well, so the law they used to seize his stuff was illegal, and nobody still does nothing about it. So he was a naturalized U.S. citizen at the time of his death, but the government used some law.
What did you say?
He was a naturalized U.S. citizen.
Oh yeah, he was a citizen.
Yeah,
they can do whatever they want with citizens.
Right, but supposedly they didn't have the right to that stuff. It was supposed to went to his family, but they deemed him as an alien, illegal, not illegal, but as an alien, and so they had the rights to his stuff. It was. I was watching this on the History Channel.
He didn't have no family though. It was a trip.
Yeah, he does. His nephew was on the History Channel.
Okay.
Same last name and everything.
Yeah, Harry Tubman's nephew.
he
was
could
on
be an
something
actor
too, but yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the man died at 90.
He didn't
He
believe
died at
in-
90 something.
Yeah, he said he was from Uranus and he didn't have time for women or anything because they would take away from what he was doing, and he had no children.
But that doesn't mean his brothers and sisters didn't. And his
I'm saying I don't know of any of that. Like, I've looked into this guy.
Well, they ran somebody out there on the History Channel and said that was his second nephew.
Yeah, and like I said, they ran Harry Tubman's, somebody out there too. And
So you
It's
believe
not
he was from? So you're saying here on the Self Love Show, you believe that Tesla is from Uranus? It's possible. I mean, yeah, you know a lot of science.
From his words and the things that he achieved, it's not proper that he's from here like that. Like, I mean, I don't know. I can't say 100%. But like,
Yeah, I mean, he could have had some psychosis and touch of schizophrenia in him too.
well, I mean,
a
some
lot
of
of those cats are geniuses.
some of the flat earth maps I've seen, like Uranus is on this plane. It's not outside the
Yeah, I'm not knocking.
atmosphere or whatever.
I'm
you
not
know what I'm
knocking the
saying?
theory. I'm just saying if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But I was just trying to get to the point that the law they use was that it didn't go to his family. They didn't say, well, he doesn't have any family, we're going to take it. The law they used was that he was deemed an alien, and he wasn't. He had papers to be a United States citizen all those years he was here. And they're saying that it was they lied basically and just stole all his stuff. Went right into the hotel room for the 3 days after he passed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's a citizen, so like they're subject to whatever. So they can say whatever about it, but like if you're a U.S. citizen, they can do whatever. It's not no. I mean, they prove it damn near once a week. People. Maybe now, like some law enforcement get charged or whatever for some, crap they do, but so many don't. And if nobody points it out, it goes unseen, and it's just part of the system. So,
Okay, so if you're a U.S. citizen and you live in the U.S., you don't think they can take your shit too?
they definitely can take your shit. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I'm saying if you're not a citizen, if you don't call yourself a citizen, if you're a sovereign individual, and you had all the Teslas, and you died in a hotel in New York on the 33rd floor at 96, you don't think they would take your shit too?
Yes.
You think that because you're saying I'm not a citizen, they can't take it? That's what I'm asking.
saying. No. I think because you are a citizen, they can take it. And if you're not a citizen, they can take it as well. But I'm just saying, because you are, there's color of law, and under the color of law, they can take it if you're a citizen. And under the same law, they can take it if you're not a citizen. Like, you know what I mean? But if you are a citizen, then it's lawful. As opposed to, it's lawful either way. So
that's what I'm saying, because the law they used with him allegedly was that he wasn't a citizen, and that's why they were able to take it, even though he was a citizen. That's what I'm trying to say.
And I'm saying, if you're a citizen, they can take it.
And I'm just telling you, they have a law that says if you're not a citizen, they will take it.
Yeah.
It's their property.
Right. And it's they're going to take what they want to take when they want to take it. is the whole process of their situation. Because that law don't have that they can take it because you're a citizen. It has it they can take it because you're not a citizen. But the fact that you're a citizen, they can take it.
Right. So they created a law for citizens and non-citizens. Well, they don't need a law for citizens, is what you're saying.
Yes, they don't. That's included in being a citizen.
So you're saying you amass $1 million worth of stuff, 5 properties, and you die, damn your kids, they can just take your stuff.
Yes, they can. They can eminent domain anything at any time. So your children couldn't get the properties and they can take it.
Right, but then they're going to compensate the children.
It's not going to be what it should be.
All right. So now
all of the highways are through our neighborhoods. We had high influencing melanated neighborhoods. All of the highways and a whole lot of the lakes are full of communities that did extremely well in eminent domain, or killing and running them off was the means to make this shit happen. So,
well, anybody can gangster anything.
That's what's happened.
But the law of eminent domain claims that they're supposed to pay fair value, market value for the property that they take.
And the law was you could go and vote, and the law was that you were equal, and the law was null and void by the people employing the law that were empowered to control what happened. And it's the same, all I'm saying.
And you're saying it's the same today? They can just come to your neighborhood, call eminent domain, and not give you any money. You can't call a lawyer or go to the media.
Not giving you any money, but not give you, it's what they calling it fair market value. Is that actual fair market value? They can devalue the tax area. They can devalue area as a tax area and say it's not pulling this or that or whatever, and cut it up precisely to say that, to be able to come in with eminent domain and decide on the price they're going to pay for you. What is the fair value?
What would be the value of the house before they decided to run a highway through it?
Oh, back then they just gave them,
right,
peanuts.
Right.
That was a little different than now, but they still can do that. They probably did the same plan then, though.
All right. So back to CERN. Let's get back to CERN. So according to Wiki, an antimatter weapon is a theoretically possible device using antimatter as a power source, a propellant, or an explosive for a weapon. Antimatter weapons are currently too costly and unreliable to be viable in warfare as producing antimatter, and enormously expensive, estimated at $6 billion for every 100 nanograms. The quantities of antimatter generated are very small, and current technology has great difficulty containing antimatter, which annihilates upon touching ordinary matter.
Yeah, they're lying a lot in that statement.
If they're hundreds of years ahead of us in tech,
they're piecemealing it out, and this is their, attempt to bring it out. But it won't be long before they've mastered it.
Well, the paramount advantage of such a theoretical weapon is that antimatter and matter collisions result in the entire sum of their mass energy equivalent being released as energy, which is at least 2 orders of magnitude greater than the energy release of the most efficient fusion weapons, though we couldn't accomplish fusion. Annihilation requires and converts exactly equal masses of antimatter and matter by the collision, which releases the entire mass energy of both, which for 1 gram is 9 times 1013 joules. Using the convention that 1 kiloton TNT equivalent equals 4.184 times 1012 joules, or 1 trillion calories of energy. 1/2 gram of antimatter reacting with 1/2 gram of ordinary matter, which is 1 gram total, results in 21.5 kilotons equivalent of energy, which is the same as the atomic bomb dropped on Nagasaki. That's why I think ultimately they want a weapon.
Well, this culture and we're almost at the bottom of the cyclical nature of this matrix. Yes, but we have achieved fusion, nuclear fusion. So we have achieved fusion. This, I'm telling you, is powering vehicles that can go faster than light, that can open up a portal from the vehicle. I don't think the people at CERN have access to that technology. I think they are doing something that could potentially be dangerous.
Yeah, but just potentially.
Yeah,
it could potentially be used as a weapon.
Oh no, it ain't. Yes, most definitely can be used. It ain't just potentially. It can most definitely be used as a weapon. That's
because all science that they put lots of money behind, not all, but a great majority, the purpose of it is to kill. Ultimately, the military gets involved.
Right. Ultimately, I'll say that. It's created, it's created and figured out from someone who wants to make it a positive. And then ultimately it's weaponized by the people that's, yes, I agree.
They're going to always look for a way to weaponize your invention. And they're going to fund it, and if they can't fund it through you, then they'll off you.
Unless they figure out they can't, get paid off of it. Like when not Edison, Tesla was making his thing. He said, "Oh yeah, it's free energy. It's all going to be free." And man, what's his name? Major industrialist during Tesla's time.
Yeah, the banker, I think he was, J.P. Morgan.
Yes, J.P. Morgan was like, nope, nah. Like, nah. And he went with Edison because Edison, you could put a meter on it. You couldn't with Tesla. It was going to be free energy.
Right. Yeah, which is an institution of control, kind of what Minister's point he put in the chat was about. Control, weaponize,
yes,
or poison the people.
Yes. And those actually would have did all three, because electricity is not the highest form of energy. that we should be using here, actually, because it is
correct
detrimental to these physical
correct
that we inhabit.
The avatars?
Yeah, avatars that we inhabit.
Correct. Correct. You know, before they turned on lights, I don't think people were miserable. They like to teach us in our schools that things were so bad and people were dying at a young age because they didn't have lights.
No. People grew their own food, you know, lived on their own thing, raised their own thing, made their own thing happen, had a lot of success.
Right.
People are confused.
Didn't have an idiot box in their house programming their families.
None of that. And it was out of so-called slavery. Like, we had all the skills. Like, it wasn't like an overseer knew how to do any damn thing. That's why they started killing all of us, because they got jealous of the success. A lot of history is just complete crap. CERN's a part of that, because they keep altering the timeline along with all these law changes. It's a mess.
Yeah. All right. So as we wrap up tonight, what potential dangers? Yeah, okay. I can see a anti-matter weapon, kind of like the nuclear bomb. We all know what the potential danger is associated with that. But just as far as those experiments and whatever we assume that they're doing, even if they're not attempting to open up portals, what does your spirit tell you why you wouldn't want to live in an apartment across the street or a home across the street from there?
If you live across the street from there, your life expectancy is very, very, very low. Like, every time they cut that thing on, which I personally know they cut on way more than their announcements.
Oh yeah.
Way more than their announcements. It's part of Project Looking Glass, where they got the machine where they could see the future, and you know, they're trying to do alterations to see what's the best timeline for them. And it don't come down to a timeline that's good for them. So they might cut it off for a while and put some more power into it, route more power to it, and then turn it back on. But it run more than it don't, because their time is coming to an end, no matter how they tinker with the timelines.
Okay. Let's just say they actually found the God particle. Now what? They're saying they want to recreate the Big Bang. Like, what can possibly, what, you know, we don't do fear here, because I'm going to be all right.
You see my life. We talked about it earlier. Okay. They feel like they found the smallest particle, and they calling it the God particle. But it's not the smallest particle. Like you said, it can be cut in half. In this matrix, it can be cut in half. So it's nonsense. It's nothing about that.
So my thoughts is, just like with the atheist, his quote.
Yeah.
Is that they could create some sort of a chain reaction that they can't control in that little container. And it blows up, melts the polar caps. You know, that's my concern.
I know Stephen Hawking's concern as well. Yeah.
Like, you know, be like if I'm in your house, you know, All right, even if I am a scientist self, even if I am, and you trust me, and I'm in there doing chemistry experiments next door to you, or making MEP, trying to make the best MEP. And I'm like, yeah, if I could just, I could just crystallize it this way. You know what I mean? It's like, man, you're going to blow yourself up. Fumes are all over the place,
Yeah, it's happened before here, and it'll happen again. I mean, everything is cyclical, so it like.
Oh, so you're saying they already blew everything up before?
Yes. Okay. Why is there sand in Egypt?
Well, that's what Stephen Hawkins was saying. Like, it was a longer article. He did say something to that effect, and that man would be put back into the caves. Of course, we were never there, but scientifically,
I mean, like, okay, there's a number of ways you can produce sand, but you definitely can turn a tropical area into sand with a nuclear explosion. It turns stuff to sand. Sand is a precursor to glass. Explosion, allegedly, a nuclear explosion. Because it doesn't make sense to you to build monuments to your gods or whatever in a desert. It just doesn't.
Well, no, it wasn't a desert. It was plush.
That's what my point is. That's how it got to be a desert.
Yeah, I mean, it was plush. I feel like that just their history of the timeline, maybe they changed it, is off. Because plush areas can naturally become deserts, but it takes thousands of years. Which tells me that their timeline of when those people were around, because those were mummified bodies. And if we hadn't opened them up and touched them, 10,000 years from now, they'd still be there. So on the one hand, it could have been a scientific disaster. On the other hand, it could be the case that those people were doing their business 50,000 years ago.
That's good facts. When one of the things I look at, like technologically, is the things about these structures all over the world, the oldest ones of which are in so-called North America. Their position in perfection to what they're aligned to in the sky, that could not be achieved now. They could not build these structures right now. Even the mounds, that that are way older than the pyramids in so-called Egypt.
I don't even think they can build them on a globe model.
Well,
I mean, it would be that much harder, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, they can't, period. Globe or otherwise. People have a lot of opinion that this is the highest technology that's ever been on this planet, and it's just not the case.
I always say it's relative anyway. Now, I know this is not what you were just saying, but I'm saying when that man created the wheel on this timeline, that technology was, you understand what I'm saying? When they were able to create fire, that technology was every bit the iPhone 14, 15. So each generation gets off into, we're so much smarter than everybody else. Remember we had that conversation on Greater Beta TV when science and discovery is built off the shoulders of your ancestors. You know what I mean? Somebody created chocolate, somebody created peanut butter, and then somebody created the Reese cup. That doesn't make the person that created the Reese cup any smarter, any more advanced than the person that made chocolate the way we know it and made peanut butter the way we know it. You know, but I know that wasn't your point, you know, but my point is what I was just trying.
It's still all part of the point.
Yeah,
it's
all
relative.
Relevant. Yeah, it's all relative because 1,000 years from now, they're going to look at us as like Neanderthals.
As we'll see, because 1,000 years from now, a lot can happen. Like it can.
Unless CERN blows up. But go ahead.
I'm just saying, a reset can happen within 1,000 years.
Right.
From now. So they might look at us as gods, the technology that we have, if they ever could read it or see any of it, or, you know.
Yeah, because a lot of the information would be hidden, and then the schools would be lying to them, and yeah.
They won't even have none of that. When the reset happens, they got to rebuild from scratch. Most times, motherfuckers that are thinkers and all that don't survive. It's a reset.
Yeah, but they've got some tablets that's been discovered. And we've been leaving time capsules.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's still a reset.
Yeah, but to your point about technology, I agree with you. They won't admit or accept the fact. So either they were using, what's that? Telepathy to move these big boulders around, mind power. What word am I looking for? Either, or the giants were building it, or they were outsmarting us. Period.
No, they had higher technology, and people. If you got a technology that people that not see, then they will think you're a god. Period. And there was people that had higher technology that could put everything in place. It's the only way that could happen. It's the only way you can put together a thing in perfect formation that has, with all those blocks, with different entrances in, with light that will show light on different parts of the year. Ain't no way that, you had a bunch of slaves putting that together. That's just foolishness in the highest thought form.
Bro, along those lines, I was watching a video. This wasn't a conspiracy video, and man, I should have sent it to you, and I should have saved it or took a clip. But you had a scientist from NASA, a young one, and he was talking about something totally different, and he was using the moon journey as an example, and he talked about how we accomplished that, and then he said, literally said, and the news didn't question him. He's like, but of course we can't go back now, and we can't do that now. And I'm sitting there like, why can't we? Like, why do you guys keep saying that we did something before I was born? And of course, and just with the same smug, I would ask them every time, why not? Can you please explain to me why not? Self, that's like you saying, well, we used to drive to Champaign, Illinois from Chicago, but we used to go every week, but we can't do it now. You'd have to have a reason why. The road has been destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Gas is $1 million a gallon. You got to have something.
Well, they didn't go, so that's why they can't go back now. Well, of course we can't go back now. We shut all that out with the Hollywood. We had that magic wand from Hollywood, and we.
The problem? They're teaching, like, ask your youngins. I think they're teaching them in science the theories of why we can't go back when they're in post theta. And they never taught us that shit, that we can't go back. They were teaching us, well, NASA was shut down, it's not economically feasible, and we don't have the funding. That was pretty much what we were taught.
Decided to not go back.
Yeah. Because all
down
these
everything.
young scientists,
they shut down the shuttle series. You know what I mean? They always shut down.
Yeah.
Like, why y'all shutting down if it's working? Because it's not working. It's
all right. All right, well, we're going to close out here. I did have a final question for you as we wrap up, and then I'm going to address it as well. We did weapon potential danger, weapons. Actually, no, that's it. So what I would encourage everyone to do that can hear our voice, do your own research, question everything, write your government and find out why they're sending your money across the world, allegedly, to a money grab. How does that help lower the price of gas, things of this nature? It's tough because they use all these words and math and numbers, when it comes to this particle physics and what they call this science self, these nanoparticles. It's a word for that.
Pseudoscience.
Yeah, but it's a word. What do they call it? Subatomic? I don't know.
They've gone below subatomic. It still applies. Subatomic still applies, but they do got another.
Why can't I think of it? It was a whole. It's almost philosophical. It is pseudoscience, though. It's a philosophy mixed with science, and none of it can be proven.
Facts.
It's gonna come to me as soon as we close out. But all right. So today's Self Love did solve today's riddle du jour, and the dome teaser was: a man dies of old age only on his 25th birthday. How is this possible? Self Love, the key.
He was born on a leap year. February 29th, which happens only every 4 years. So his 25th birthday would actually be like his 100th birthday.
But the whole concept of leap years.
100th life. 100th year of life.
Well, his 100th birthday. Well, yeah, you're right. That's what I'm saying. The whole concept of leap year is monkey science.
Yes. Because
the math ain't mathing. That's why they had to come up with a
leap year.
That's another proof about this globe theory that ain't mathing.
Yeah. 52 weeks is 364 days.
Correct. Yeah, I'll still be short money on my checks. All right. Yearly pay, depending on how they're paying you. What's going on?
Right. Yeah, because
pay for leap year.
Yeah, man. What's going on? And not only that, like if you get paid every 2 weeks, you got to check them because there's 3 weeks and 5 weeks in 4 months.
Yeah, you get an extra check, but it just I just like the simple paid every Friday. It works for me,
Yeah,
I can
I
math
meant
the math.
paid yearly. You need to map that out because it's a whole extra month in a year.
Yeah. All right. So Self Love's been working hard on his end, running around the great city of Chicago, booking cats. So we're working to reel them in, going after some legends and things of that nature. So tomorrow I'll be working the phones to see if we can close this out. Looking forward to it. It's going to be some great discussion and well-needed discussion right here on the Self Love Show. Tomorrow on, well, my bad. What say ye, Self?
I said facts. Just complete agreement.
Yeah. Now, tomorrow on Mouthpiece Included, place where you could pull up and and chime in. But if you do pull up,
you better protect your mouth. You better bring your mouthpiece.
Don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. You better bring a towel, because if you don't, you're going to get all wet. Tomorrow we have hot topics on politics. Deshaun Watson got six games, which is what I predicted. And then also it's the hottest topic is an ode to one of the greatest standing members of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, NBA legend. He's on my personal Mount Rushmore at this point. It's an ode to Bill Russell. Rest in peace, brother, and other hot topics. So definitely tune in tomorrow, Thursday at 9 p.m. Chicago time. That's 7 p.m. here on the left coast. And so enough of my yapping here. I'll turn it over to this brother to my right for Wordsmith's final words out there.
CERN. It's a memorial to a so-called God. Should cause concern.
Concern, huh?
Because they want all of us to burn and follow the religious doctrine, like Revelations. Boy, you believe in that and complacent, you're adding to their power. We've been indoctrinated almost every single hour, especially if you got the TV on to tell a lie to your vision. Is a hell of a way that they condition. And it truly takes your participation. Right now, they're not putting a gun to your head. Hear you watch what they said. It's a trip, because it all just spread. The orchestrated media persists through social media. Will we wake up?
Wake up.
I got faith. Cut from a different cloth, a different type of makeup. I'ma say what needs to proceed, not what happened, and fuck them and their greed.
Indeed.
Came here to make sure that we exceed self-love above all. Make sure that we come together and never fall. We're about building our nation. Melanated. We not black, but we need to get your attention so we can stay intact.
Facts.
Let's grow. Let's go. Let's blow. Time is coming. They can't stop us no more. Words.
Words. It's like hip hop. We don't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Thanks. Well done, well done. Y'all know how we do.
Do you think you are the one?
Honestly, I don't know.
You know what that means? It's Latin. Means know thyself.
Know yourself.
Got to.
Bullets are boomerangs.
Stand your ground.
Murder and suicide.
Yeah, an eye for an eye.
Silence is violent.
You see something, you say something.
Woo! Woo! Greed plus ego over fear equals slavery.
Charity plus humility times love is freedom.
F what you heard. Do not answer questions. Listen.
Yeah, to everything you listen to, question all of it. Question everything, no matter where it comes from.
Even what you hear on the Self Luv Show.
Facts.
Fear ain't real. It's a joke. It's an illusion.
So all it is love, man. Vibrate love.
Forgiveness and charity. Those are the highest love vibrations.
So, do something charitable for a so-called enemy and end the beef. End it all. End the beef.
Go down there to your local fraternal order of police and give them some donuts, Krispy Kremes, some Starbucks. Don't spit on
that part. You know about that part.
Hey, I heard that healthy people heal people.
Usually, because for sure, I know for a fact that hurt people, oh man, they will hurt people.
Facts. Flesh even. Do me a favor. Free Larry Hoover.
Free Chief Malik.
Free the guys, man.
Prison slavery.
Be like St. Pedro, walk on H2O. Keep your eyes on your hoochie.
Just like being in love.
Yes,
No one
sir.
can tell you you're in love. You just know
Move
it.
mountains.
Through and through. Balls to bone.
Mountains, huh?
Yes, sir. You knew my life. You know I done moved a few. But that one, all we need is the faith of a mustard seed, and it'll walk right out our way.